Wonderful. Well, I'll hand it over to CC for the AI Creator Ecosystem panel. Here you go.
Thanks, Maddie. So excited for this. We'll kick it off with some introductions. Could you please introduce yourselves, what your company does?
Yeah. Okay, mic check. Okay, cool. I'm Josh Soto. I actually know, I think like probably 2/3 of you guys in here. So this is a waste of your time. I am the co-founder of Open License. So we do royalty or attribution, royalty distribution for original artwork going into generative AI. And then I'm a board member at And Foundation, which is currently awaiting 501c3 nonprofit status to do things like this. So that's me. So,
Hi, my name is Paula, and I'm the head of marketing of Fripic. I don't know how many of you know Fripic. We've been around for 14 years now, so we know the designer journey all over these years. We're just ahead of AI, so we have our own AI suite, and I hope you enjoy tonight.
Hello, I'm Justin Mayer. I'm the CEO of Civitai. I don't know if you guys have heard of us, but if you haven't, we're an awesome online community. You should
Yes, we do.
So people upload all kinds of awesome models for doing video or images. Yeah, be sure to check it out.
Awesome. And just a quick shout out, it's Josh's birthday tonight. Yes. Yes. Happy birthday to you, Josh.
Thank you.
Here you go.
25 years old.
Thanks for spending your birthday with us. It's what we say in Spain. So you're all companies that are very embedded in these creator ecosystems. So how did you first identify the community that you wanted to get involved with, and how do you go to them? How do you go to where your customers are?
You're locking eyes at me. So is that for me or, okay.
It's your birthday. You get to start.
Thanks. Okay. I'll take advantage of that. I think like for us, it was kind of easy. Like one, I'm a creator, so I really enjoy working with creatives. Like we heard from the last panel that attribution is a big hindrance for like adoption for AI. And that seems to be the community that is most immediately impacted by generative AI. I actually worked in this office a couple of years ago when GPT-3 launched. And it was like it was a shock to me to see that creativity was the first domains where AI was going to make an impact, to see that it was going to show up in writing and filmmaking and photography. And from that time till now, it's selfish because like it's the community that I want to spend time with. So maybe that's the answer, but and it's a community I think that like where we're going to see everybody gravitate towards. I think that we all have a desire to be expressive. We all have a desire to be creative. And I think that a lot of the mundane tasks that we have done through most of our jobs over the past forever are gradually getting automated away. And we're finding our way like more and more towards creative tasks. And so I'm excited about that. And we want to enable that. So.
Listen, like Josh said, I'm not a creative, but I'm not a creator. I'm a creative myself. And what we do at Fripic is to try to build a community. That's where we found our people. I think with this AI community is different than all the communities that I've been before. I was a designer myself in the past. And this community is like when you have a problem, there's somebody jumping in. It's so beautiful that everyone wants to learn. So everyone wants to be cooperative and like being in that conversation. That building that community makes a lot of sense for us, that we've been with the user for so many times. Yeah.
Awesome. I think for me, I found my community by being a part of it. I fell in love with this stuff and I was looking for people that could help, and I was able to help the other people and they were able to help me, and I needed to create a space where they could, help each other. And so that's how we got started. And so I guess we kind of brought the community to us in a way by giving them the space they needed to do what they were looking to do, sharing models, sharing their images, sharing their creations, sharing the how-to. So for us, it was kind of a natural thing.
What are some specific strategies that you're using to grow your community now? I mean, you all have pretty established communities on your platforms. what are the strategies you're implementing to grow that? You're looking at me. You're looking at me too. Right now, I think the AI partners is what we're growing the most. We believe in that really creative community. So we give them the tool, we give them the AI suite, and we give them the expertise that we have for them to be creative and explore way more. And on my end, here in the States, what I'm doing is create these beautiful events like this one. We will have a couple more with Justin on the panel at our office. And it's about that. It's about being in a community where we support each other and we support creativity. Because nowadays, everyone is supporting the tools, but I feel a lack of supporting the creatives. So that's what we're trying to do. We have learned so much of our users that now supporting them is what makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. What they said. I really, these sorts of events, I'm hooked on these. We just did one last month here in San Francisco. Actually, another one, a free pick, I think, just for that.
Yeah.
And like one of my favorite expressions. So I don't know where Justin Hackney is from 11 Labs. He's somewhere back here. But he had a quote above his door when we went and visited 11 Labs in London that said, "This is not a cult." And I just love the quote, and I'm going to steal it. I think that there really is a desire in it. It feels like in this like young AI community where folks aren't competitive. There's not a lot of like. There's so much ground to gain that I don't feel like we're elbowing each other to get out of the way. Everybody feels like they really want to embrace where all of this might be going. And so in some ways it feels really like symbiotic and encouraging. And so for us, like if the question was, how are we building community? And it's like spending time with the community and doing it in a way that's not self-serving. That's not like we won't have lead generation out of these events because that's gross. It's just hanging out with good people, doing cool things.
I agree. It's like, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I feel like it's not competitive.
Yeah.
When we are at this event, it's like we are in our living room talking to friends and try to create. It's just what it is. And it feels so genuine that it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. I'm in love with AI because of that.
Can I add to my answer too?
Of course, it's your birthday.
I think one other thing that that has been like really impressed on me, actually my partner over here at the End Foundation, is like, it nauseates me to go to tech events that are just tech events. No offense. But like, if it's just tech people talking to tech people about tech, then you're missing like the entirety of the world that you're trying to impact. And I think when we think about building community, a lot of it is go talk to a filmmaker that is arms folded and doesn't want to like touch the tools. Like go talk to a painter that never touches a computer, and talk to an educator. Like spending time completely outside of the communities that are your comfort zone or that have dollars to spend with you, and really get a better understanding of what it is that they're trying to solve. Like spending time with educators and understanding what AI is going to mean for education is a way more valuable use of your time than spending time in the tools to try to understand how they might be able to like create some new like educational selling motion. And so I think building community is also understanding that your community is not just insular to where you might sell.
One of the things that we've done that I hope is helpful is we actually do live streams on Twitch, which is kind of crazy and a little bit weird for a company. But I feel like because we are really a community, it's a great way for us to spotlight these talented creators. Because like somebody in the last panel said, there's new tools coming out like every 3 months that completely change everything. And so to have to learn everything on your own is so difficult. But by instead taking the people that have taken the time to really dive into things and giving them a chance to kind of, take the spotlight and show, hey, this is how I use the tech and this is how you can use it too. I think it really helps elevate everyone. Like you said, it's not competitive. We're all just trying to figure out how to use this stuff as best we can. And it's moving so fast that it's hard to keep up alone. So being able to lean on each other is really helpful.
Yeah. And then the people that pop their head up as competitive kind of get pushed out to the outside. And I've seen it, I won't call any names out, but I've seen that happen too. So I love that about this whole like ecosystem.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah.
So with the creative tools that you have created and made available to your community, what have been the best use cases you've seen come up, and have there been any pleasant surprises that you didn't anticipate?
Quick. Ready? The pleasant surprises I didn't anticipate. So I should say, so open license, we are like pre-GA. So everything we're doing right now is with a closed community on a beta. And open license makes it possible to see which images, video, audio were part of a generative output, which is a pretty cool thing to be able to do. And so that's like the thing we're proud of. But to make that like visible, we made a chat interface for it, which is basically just Chat GPT, but you can access all the LLMs on it. And the community is like more interested in that than what we do, which is like, I guess discouraging or encouraging. But like you can access Stability or Midjourney or Flux, which we just added. We'll be adding 11 labs on it really soon. And the ability to jump between these LLMs in a single chat interface has been something that we get a lot of feedback on, and is really exciting. So I think that has been surprising, and then we're just running with it. So yeah.
For me, and I'm sorry, I'm taking the time. Okay. So for Fripic, I think the best thing is to give them the tool to be creative. Like seeing from us, from a perspective from being a stock image company, right? Evolving to this and being able to see all the contributors, all the people creating these beautiful images, videos, music videos, films, using this high-end images is like mind-blowing. But after that, the education project, being able for them to become experts, even though we are launching features like 2, 3 every week, like you say, we have to be fast. They master it and they want to teach them. So being able to see them being educational and like providing the knowledge to, like say the people that don't believe as much in AI, it's really inspiring. For us, it's really inspiring. Yeah.
I think from what I see within our community, it's really cool to see how a big release can dramatically change and shift what's happening within the community. It's its own ecosystem, right? So a new big model to release. So in this last month, it was just Flux. And to see so quickly people add all of these concepts that existed in the prior state-of-the-art model get added to this new ecosystem is just phenomenal. And I think, I'm getting used to it now, but it's just surprising to see how many people out there care about it and are willing to kind of share what they're building. And I can't wait to see where it's a whole nother year from now, because it's only growing faster and faster.
Completely. I agree with you. It's like, we think, okay, this is not going to matter at all. And then we launch it, it's like, it matters. Like they are behind us, like cheering it up or like whatever. It's really impressive. I'm really impressed with this community. Yeah.
There seems to be a stigma in the traditional backgrounds of creatives or the traditional creatives around AI. And there seems to be a lot of fear. What do you think needs to change so that AI is more accessible and approachable, even to the biggest critics?
There you go.
Can we go? I have deep thoughts on this. I'll try not to rant. I think that, there's a lot of pieces to this. I think part of it is there's a huge education component to just knowing how to, like some of these tools, like what the outputs are really incredible, but the process to get those outputs is really opaque. And it's really hard to understand how to do it, especially if you're coming from, like I'm a motion graphics and animation background, and which those tools are pretty sophisticated too. But like when I look at Comfy UI, it scares the shit out of me because it's like, I don't really understand what I'm doing. And then we'll sit down with designers and see what like their workflows. But if you're trying to convince like a VFX artist to pick that tool up, and on the other end of it, they feel like it's also going to push them out of their career path, there's some level of education that you have to do. And I think it's actually considerable. And you've got to make it sort of a no judgment zone where they can get hands-on tools. Somebody can hold them and carry them through it so that it's approachable. I think that's a really big part of it. And then I think the other piece of it is more for the creatives that like, a lot of these tools open up creativity to a group that is inherently creative, but has never been able to express it before. And so we're starting to see like people that are, they own a laundromat, and you would never expect them to be like a phenomenal filmmaker. And now suddenly they're able to produce things that they couldn't produce before. And I think traditional filmmakers will kind of turn their nose up at that initially, because it's like, well, you haven't earned this. And so I think some of this is just like the adolescence of the craft growing. But a big part of it is like, you have to remove the stigma. There's got to be some level of education and making it okay. And then obviously, like selfishly, like I'm convinced that like my company is part of this like solution. So, and so we're trying to like make that a thing where like you have to bring the creatives along economically too. So like if you're a photographer, you took a ton of photos, like we used free pick for the video that I put up here. I don't know if you saw that, but I did that.
Thank you for that.
And I can tell you in the generated images that we have, I can tell you which free pick images we're using. And for the photographers that uploaded their content to free pick, that's really important. And so I think that like you have to be able to show that in the process. I think that's like a really important piece of it.
Yeah.
I think to that end, I'd also add that seeing the work that goes on behind the scenes, I think helps people recognize that like this isn't just somebody pressing a button and they're getting this magically amazing output, right? That this is another tool in a creator's tool belt. And I think that as more and more creators kind of see that process, the stigma will go away, right? That they'll recognize that this is another Photoshop, this is another, tool that helps them make the output that they're looking for. And I'm also hoping that, like you're saying, as people are empowered to create greater and greater things and kind of express what's in their mind, that people will appreciate that. They'll appreciate the ability that people have to communicate now because of these tools, and it'll just take some time, but we'll get there.
Yeah, I completely agree with this. Amazing people. I think what is going to take away the stigma is control. The moment we all feel in control, the stigma is going to go away. Like he said, I remember the first time I went into Midjourney, and I know I'm from Freepik and I'm talking about Midjourney. The moment that I was like, I'm not good enough to create these images. I'm not good enough to do that. And then I went in and I said, Blood Woman, and it completely blew my mind when it came out. I was like, okay, now if a tool does that with way more control, it's going to be more valuable. It's going to be more appreciated. Like I know a film is a lot of work. There's a lot of people involved in a movie. So that's why I value it, right? So you value the work. If it's not there, it's like, okay, this is another thing that I'm not gonna, like, it's gonna take my job, but I don't believe in it. But if you see the work, you're gonna value it. So I think the control is what is good for it.
Yeah. I was just gonna add the last piece of that is like, well said. I think that like this is the worst these tools are ever gonna be. Like they continue to get better. And I think that's part of the thing that keeps people away from them is they're like, oh, well, it's not good enough yet. And it was like a year ago, I was watching Will Smith eat through his nose. And so like we're getting better every day. And I think it won't be long before like one of the A16Z investors who just wrote a paper on like the next Pixar, which is a brilliant paper. And like, and how like we're moving from an era where film and video games kind of merge. And I think that is such an accurate assessment of where all this goes, and these tools sort of collapse boundaries that previously existed, and as they professionalize and the outputs become more and more high level, they become undeniable in the same way that I think somebody who was in theater in the early 1900s adapted to film. We're going through a similar like birth pain now.
So lightning round for the last minute. What is one birthday wish you have for what you want your company to look like in 10 years? What does this mean for the world when you're...
I would love it if my company was commonplace and was like as commonplace as a recycling label on the bottom of your water bottle. And so much so that you didn't know who we were. That's my wish 10 years from now.
All right, Paula, what is the top most astounding thing you've seen on Freepik?
I think retribution, like making these artists make something out of it, like making them feel that we care. It's something that I'm willing to give my 8 hours a day life Yeah, like making them feel like they matter. They are the only ones that matter here. Without them, we're nothing. And there's no AI that's going to take away your creativity. So making that our statement, that's my from here to 10 years for sure.
And Justin, how about you for what you want your company to be in 10 years?
Ooh, question.
Being on a beach and reach.
I love the idea of being a tool that helps people basically remix and recreate all kinds of things. You're going to get to hear about this a little bit in my keynote that I get to give in just a bit. I think one thing I'd love to add is I feel like I'm already seeing some really amazing things. We're at the beginning of a whole new ecosystem, and I'm getting to see people already get new jobs. You know, we've talked about people losing things, but I mean, there's people here that I knew from early days that were just hobbyists now here doing it professionally. And it's so exciting to see. And I'm looking forward to, all the careers that will exist 10 years from now as people take this to a whole new level.
Yes, to that. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Happy birthday, Josh. Thank you, Maddie.
What? Yeah.